Hi guys, I hope all is well. This was a requested reading. This was a pretty interesting reading that I agreed to do because I don't think I've ever done a reading like this before involving all of the Destiny's Child members, excluding Farrah because she was in the group such a short amount of time, guys. Plus, I don't even think she can sing. But let them tell it, Latavia can't sing either, so I don't know. Okay, so, but Latavia was in the group for years, okay? So I'm not saying anything like anything, guys, okay? Okay. So how I'm gonna do this? I'm gonna do this, I believe, in two parts because this could get really long. So, the first question is, how does Beyonce feel about Kelly, Michelle, Latavia, Latoya? And I'm going to pull 4 cards for each person, okay? How does Beyonce feel about Kelly? It's about Beyonce. Look, y'all. Beyonce is a fool. Look. When I do readings on Beyonce and Kelly, this Six of Cups, Cups comes out, and it makes me always think of, because Beyonce, to me, it feels like she thinks Kelly is an ambitious person. She carries a lot maybe by herself, and she doesn't have direction. I'm just going to say she doesn't have direction. So this is where Beyonce feels like she needs to come in and assist her. And what this here, this spread here is reminding me of, or what came to mind, is when Kelly was on tour recently and Beyonce had to come and help her out and give her, what type of lights did she give her? The Bow Down 2013 Beyonce album lighting, okay? Because maybe that was all they could afford. I don't know. Okay, let's not go into that. But what I'm feeling is she feels like Kelly needs saving sometimes. With this Ten of Swords, it's like Kelly has a lot on her back. Like she has a lot on her plate. She doesn't have direction. You see this person is looking down. They're going forward, but they're looking down. They can't see where they're going. They're ambitious, but they just cannot see where they're going. They don't have any direction. And this is where Beyonce feels like she comes into that. She comes in and advises Kelly or whatever. I'm not saying how she feels about it. I'm just saying this is how I see their relationship set up in multiple readings. Kelly is dependent upon her in one way or another. Say what you want to say. Okay. How does Beyonce feel about Michelle? There is a defensiveness or a closeness that Beyonce has when it comes to Michelle. Now, I see her being grateful that Michelle came into the group. Grateful of Michelle. But I don't think they've developed a strong relationship. I'm seeing that sometimes there can be tension and friction. This Page of Swords I see as Michelle. This King of Swords I see as Beyonce. They aren't always on the same page, but typically Beyonce wins because she is the most dominant. But there is some defensiveness between them in space and distance. Okay. Who's next? Latavia. How does Beyonce feel about Latavia? How does Beyonce feel about Latavia at this time? Wow. I don't think she has really. Damn. First of all, Beyonce still has, regardless, I don't give a fuck how many pictures they take. Celebrities don't fool me with pictures and promo, photo ops, and press releases. There's always something under that. Usually they're attempting to maintain power, status, and finances. Okay, so Beyonce still has some type of animosity, anger, hurt toward Latavia and what happened in the past. They don't have a relationship. They're not in the back talking to Beyonce. They're not behind the scenes doing that. No matter how many concerts or backstage pictures that we see, they don't have a relationship. Okay. And I still think Beyonce blames them, or blames them, I'm going to just say it, both of them, Latoya and Latavia, for breaking up the group. No matter what happened, we don't really know what happened. I don't know if it was really Matthew doing whatever. I don't know. I don't know if it was really Latavia and Latoya being with Jacket Edge and not doing the work like they were saying. I don't know what happened, guys. We really don't know what happened. We only know from what they tell us, okay? So that's that. So, let me get another deck here. How does Beyonce feel about Latoya? Yeah, guys, she don't fuck with Latoya like that either. okay. When it comes to Latavia and Latoya, Beyonce still has, number one, she hasn't fully gotten over what happened, because it's like, what could have happened? We could have been this. We were sisters. We could have been bigger. We could have been this. But at the same time, she's happy that it happened, because she still got to where she was. She still got to where she needed to be. However, she looks at the situation, the breakup, as this wasn't even necessary. What we could have been, Beyonce still has that on her. What we could have been. I don't think, I think they have clashing personalities. Beyonce is this king of swords, like she was in the reading with Michelle. She has a king of swords personality, and so does Latoya. And that's really one of the issues. Kelly, Michelle, Latavia seem passive here. They have passive personalities. When it comes to Latoya, did I say that right? Kelly, Latavia, and Michelle have passive personalities, but when it comes to Latoya, she's the match. You understand? She's two, the king of swords. But Beyonce don't fuck with her, just like she don't fuck with Latoya. So yeah. Those are just photo ops, guys. They're not friends. They don't talk behind the scenes. If there is a Destiny Child reunion tour, it will not include Latoya or Latavia. Okay? I do not see them performing on concert. Not saying that they couldn't be there in the crowd or backstage, but Beyonce doesn't even help Kelly. Okay? Let alone help the other members of the group. Okay? So that's just something that we're going to have to come to the conclusion of and understand that this is true, okay? Okay. So, the next person that I have here written down is Kelly. So the first question is, how does Kelly feel about Michelle? How does Kelly feel about Michelle? Wow, 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 wow. Guys, you know, when I looked at this, I got Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce. It kind of feels like Kelly felt like, well, I'm glad they brought somebody in the group who's going to be on my level. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to communicate this to you. She felt like, I'm glad they brought somebody in the group who's equal to me or who can understand me better. Because Beyonce was always at the top. That group was just to ensure that Beyonce made it to the top. It groomed her. It was her practice before she started solo, okay? Kelly thinks Michelle is talented. More talented than what we give her credit for. I think Kelly and Michelle get along. Maybe some shade here and there, but I have a feeling that they trauma bond a lot when it comes to the group. This with this Nine of Swords is giving me trauma bonding. This is what the Chariot is giving me. Trauma bonding for them. It's unfortunate. Are they best friends? No. Okay. But there's a sense that Kelly does not trust Michelle all the way. And guys, this reading is already going to be too long. I can't go into why. Maybe that could be, I could do a Kelly and Michelle reading later, but I gotta keep going. How does Kelly feel about Beyonce? First of all, Kelly thinks that Beyonce is extremely talented. She feels like she's the all-in-one. Like she's the it girl. She has it. She was going to make it in the business regardless. Regardless of me, regardless of the group, regardless of what I've had to offer, Beyonce she's naturally talented and she has it. And Kelly looks up to her. No matter what the age difference is, I think they're only like a year apart, but she looks up to Beyonce creatively. I don't want to say like I don't want to say a mother figure, but maybe a big sister. She sees her as on a level that she's not on. Okay, she sees her on a level that she's not on, and that's why she looks up to her in that way. There is also some feelings that Kelly has about Beyonce that she does not disclose. She does not totally speak her mind when it comes to Beyonce. This card right here usually is my self-awareness card, meaning that this being lacks self-awareness, but they choose to. They choose to look the other way. They choose to not stand forth in the truth. To me, Kelly seems like a pushover. I know she was when she was younger, but I saw the growth in Kelly, how she would speak up for herself when people would ask her questions about Beyonce. But when it comes to Beyonce herself, she doesn't have a backbone, guys. This is what we need to understand. She's not going to stand up to her. No matter what she says or does, she's not going to leave the family. She feels obligated and thankful that she's even living this life. Kelly doesn't have, I'm gonna do a Kelly reading later, guys, but Kelly's self-esteem is shattered. This business has shattered her self-esteem. And I really do take that seriously. But Kelly is beautiful and talented. She doesn't have to be under Beyonce like this. This is a choice. So that's why I really sometimes do not feel sorry for her, because as beautiful and talented as she is, she can do anything. She doesn't have to continue to do music if it doesn't sell, if it doesn't work out for her. She can act, she can model, I don't know, do YouTube, I don't know. But just wasting money, making albums and tours is just ridiculous. Okay, who's next? Latoya, how does Kelly feel about Latoya? How does Kelly feel about Latoya? Ooh. Yeah, they don't have a relationship. So yeah, those are just photo ops. I think Kelly still has feelings about what happened in the past. Maybe the lawsuit did it for her. The breakup of the group did it for her. Like I said, Kelly too is also blaming the other girls for breaking up the group, but they don't have a relationship. They don't talk. This Four of Swords keeps coming out. They don't fuck with each other like that, guys. They don't. So they don't have a relationship to even really think about. This is just past feelings from back in the day, 20 plus years ago. Okay. 25 years, how long ago did they break up? 25 years ago? Lord. Is this it though? What cards didn't I use yet? Okay, these. Okay, so Latavia, how does Kelly feel about Latavia? How does Kelly feel about Latavia? To me, it feels like, I don't feel like they had the best relationship while they were in the group. No, I can't confirm that, but it feels like more of a co-worker. I'm getting more of a co-worker. More, oh, you know, we needed 4 members, so she's just the 4th member, you know, I don't know. It's worth is in the group. I don't think she I'm hearing this worth is in the group and she's one of them. I think the relationship with Latavia that Kelly had was the easiest to let go. It was the easiest to get over. I just felt like Latavia was just seen as a co-worker. I don't know. Like, they didn't have the best relationship, but you know, it's whatever. You know. So that's Kelly. Okay, we're done with Kelly. Okay. Whew, this reading is long. Michelle. Now after this one, I'm going to do a part 2. So let's do Michelle last. Michelle, how does Michelle feel about Beyonce? How does Michelle feel about Beyonce? Yeah. Like I said before, they don't have a close relationship. She see Beyonce as Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce really doesn't pay her any mind like that. After the group, they just moved on. And like I said, this Chariot, the reason why I laughed when it came out, because it reminds me from the previous reading I just did, Kelly, Michelle, Beyonce. I mean, that's just how, we're going to have to be honest, guys, about how Beyonce perceives them. Okay? Just be honest about that. The Queen of Swords and this Nine of Swords. There is some type of aggression that they have. But it's mostly hidden because they're not around one another. What I'm sensing is that, you know how you're around family members you don't like? Well, I don't know, because I don't fuck with my family like that. But, and I don't suggest you fuck with family members or friends or anybody who you don't like or they don't like you. You do not have to put up with people just because they're your family, friends, parents, whatever. Just get the fuck out the way. Let your absence speak for you, okay? Stay the fuck away from people like that, who degrade you and shit. Just leave them alone. But for professional reasons, I feel like Michelle has to be around Beyonce. This is where she gets most of her clout, being attached to Destiny's Child. So yes, they do photo ops and things like that, but no, in the background, they don't have a close relationship. They're not friends. They're not calling each other and all this. They include Michelle in certain events. As we've seen in the past, certain events she gets invited to, but others she doesn't. Okay, that's just what that is. Just accept it. How does Michelle feel about Kelly? I said, that trauma bonding. I really think, guys, that they've been in that group trauma bonding for the past 20 plus years. And mind you, there's a lot that went on that Kelly never spoke about, that Michelle never spoke about. Being in a group with Beyonce, her mother is the stylist and hairdresser. Her dad is the manager. Her dad owns the Destiny's Child brand. Of course, she's gonna be favorited. Of course, Beyonce is gonna be the golden child. So to have to experience that, not only in the public where everyone else sees, oh, Beyonce, Beyonce, not only in the public but also behind the scenes, okay, that has created trauma, especially Kelly. So they have come together for that reason. I'm not saying that reason alone. Okay, I'm not saying that's the only reason. But I am seeing that. She likes Kelly. She likes her. She thinks she's talented. But they don't have a close relationship built on let's just say this, their primary relationship facet is built on trauma bonding from the industry and the Knowles family. And I'll leave it there and move on. How does Michelle feel about LaToya? Michelle and LaToya. Okay. You know, I think Michelle inherited some feelings toward the other two girls because of what was told to her by Kelly and Michelle. Michelle wasn't in the group at that time. She can only go by what was advised, what was told to her, especially by the people who were paying her, which is, the Knowles family. They brought her into stardom. So who was she going to listen to? Who was she going to side with? Now, I don't see any blatant disrespect or, disliking, but I just feel her maybe looking over her shoulder like, okay, she doesn't have control over the photo ops and things of them coming around. Beyonce and Kelly, mainly Beyonce, if Beyonce wanted to bring the other two girls back into the group, that's just what's going to happen. And nobody's going to say anything. Kelly's not going to say anything. Michelle's not going to say anything. Okay? So they don't have any control over this. This is something Michelle doesn't have any control over. Okay, so here, how does Michelle feel about Latavia? Yeah. like I said, because she doesn't know Latavia, she only knows what she's heard in the past. There is some type of, you know, her looking over her shoulder, but again, I don't see any animosity. The King of Cups came out again. It's like, I've heard some things. I don't really have any animosity toward you all, but I don't trust you. But I'm looking over my shoulder. I really don't know what's going on here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. It's not really from an emotional standpoint. It's from a professional standpoint. Like, please, you know, don't stand too close to me. I'm not saying that I don't like you. I just don't know you. And now you're coming around. I've been in the group the past 25 years. Damn, has it been that long? Wow. Michelle has been in the group longer than the other girls have. You know, because I think by the time they broke up, they had been together for about 10 years, 10 plus years. So, yeah, guys, that's it. I'm going to start the next reading with how Latavia feels about the other girls and how Latoya feels about the other girls, okay? But this reading right now is extremely too long. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.